PWA Slalom World Tour headed to the Central Asian Republic of Turkmenistan as the mightiest windsurfers in the world raced in the fantastic Caspian seaside resort city of Awaza. But our journey to Awaza starts in the capital Ashgabat, which means City of Love. Ashgabat is a white marble-lined, gold-gilded city, an oasis that lies below the great Karakum Desert. It has some of the most unique and breathtaking structures in the world. This gas-rich country of nearly 5 million has emerged as a paragon of stability in Central Asia, and its infrastructure is truly impressive, with modern roads and avenues, state-of-the-art public buildings, as well as spacious gardens and parks. Among the most iconic of Ashgabat's monuments is the Neutrality Monument, which symbolizes Turkmenistan's independence since 1991. Ashgabat boasts the world's biggest indoor Ferris wheel, not to mention one of the world's tallest flagpoles, and the Independence Monument, which is dedicated to the heroes of this country's illustrious past and promising future. But the real spectacle happens when the sun goes down, when the city shines bright in dazzling technicolor. There is an impressive, sumptuous wedding palace. This is a country with big ambitions, and that includes sports, as Turkmenistan's stunning Caspian seaside resort city of Awaza hosts the first ever PWA Awaza World Cup, which was raced over 6 days in the beautiful new state-of-the-art Yelken Yacht Club. The President of Turkmenistan, His Excellency Mr. Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, attended the opening ceremonies, himself a keen sportsman. Errol Tabanca, chairman of the main event sponsor Polymex, was also there to welcome him. The president met the riders and was introduced to the sport of windsurfing. He later exchanged gifts and sat back to watch a great show on the water.
This is great. We are honored, and it is first time in the history. Maybe for windsurfers it's not much, but for us it means a lot because it is first time for Turkmenistan. It is first time in the Caspian Sea. So we will have great week with events, with activities, with music, with windsurfing, with DJ performances, with frisbee, with football tournaments and all that.
There was massive local media interest in the event and the competing windsurfers, who were in turn enamored of the local culture, of which they had plenty to taste. 47 of the world's best male and 13 of the best female windsurfers showed up in force for the PWA Awaza World Cup, Round 2 of the 2014 Men's Slalom World Tour, and Round 1 of the Women's. The man to beat in the men's slalom is defending 2013 PWA Slalom World Champion, Frenchman Antoine Albo, who also won the opening round in Costa Brava, Spain.
Here it's a new location here in Awaza in Turkmenistan. So new place. I came here a few days before the event to see how it goes, and I got some wins, so it was nice. Nice people as well. The organization is just perfect.
Albo's big rival this year is fellow Frenchman Cyril Musulmani, who finished runner-up in round 1.
I hope to be first and to do a maximum of podium during the year. If I can do a good place here, I think I have a good chance to prove that the first one was not just luck, and it was like a consistent race.
Another name to look out for is Argentinian Gonzalo Costa-Jovel. There was a strong contingent of top female riders who were looking forward to getting their 2014 campaign off on the right note. In the women's slalom, last year's world champion Delphine Cousin is the favorite.
I had a good training in different places, and I feel really ready for the first event this year.
2012 world champion and last year's world runner-up Valérie Gibaudeau of France is back. And the talented former world number 3 Lena Erdil will be representing Turkey and is sure to put up a fight. There's a lot of other talent out there. It's going to be a great event. Racers were up at 5:30 a.m. for the skippers' meeting, looking to take advantage of the early morning high winds. Riders checked out who they'd be competing against as they were divided into 4 heats of 12 riders per heat, down from the usual 8 heats due to the poor wind conditions, so riders could progress through the heats faster. By 6:30, riders were ready to go. With 7 to 12 knot winds, riders headed out, and Heat 1 of the men's was underway. French rider Julien Cantel of Guadeloupe was off to a good start, taking the early lead. Cantel is first to the mark, followed by Pierre Mortefon in second, and Malte Reuscher in third, Ross Williams of the UK fourth, then Sean O'Brien of Australia. Andrea Rosati of Italy gets into a little trouble on the turn. The winds are light, which makes the turns tricky. Cantel pulls away from the first mark, leaving Mortefon, Reuscher, and Williams behind. Cantel wins Heat 1. Good start for him. Good result also for Ross Williams of Britain in third, just behind Pierre Mortefon.
6 o'clock, I wake up like this, and go the water, full pour, the water is no cold. You wake up at 6 o'clock, the water is cold. But for me, it's very happy for my race.
Countdown to the women's Heat 1. Yellow flag and the 2014 season officially underway for the ladies. As expected, leading the pack is defending world champion Delphine Cousin, who breaks away early to take the first mark in the lead and never looks back. Lena Erdil was trailing Cousin in second, followed by Japanese rider Mio Anayama, who had a great start in third spot. Cousin has the perfect start to the year with a commanding performance in Heat 1. Lena Erdil of Turkey has a great start too, with a second place finish, followed by surprise third place for Anayama. The start procedure is crucial in slalom racing, and it's not as easy as it looks. A simple timing error at the start can make the difference between winning and losing.
The start can be really important, like a big part of your result, because it means that you can arrive to the first buoy like clear, and you can do the carve that you want to do with nobody disturbing you or taking your wind.
For the start, we have a 4-minute starting procedure. All the sailors go to the committee boats and they listen to the official who's giving a countdown for the red flag. Red flag goes up 4 minutes before the start, goes down 3 minutes before. Yellow up goes up 2 minutes before the start, goes down 1 minute before the start, and the green flag goes up sharp on 0. That is the start, opening the starting line.
The racers all carry watches, as they have to time their arrival at the start mark just right to get the perfect start to the race.
I have it here on my arm because I go sailing like that, so I have the watch facing straight to my face, and I don't have to be taking my hand to look or stuff, so this is a really good spot.
It's the countdown to Heat 2 on day 2. Green flag goes up, away they go. Because the heats have been reduced to 4, there are 12 riders per heat, and to accommodate this, the start line is kept much wider than usual, with a longer distance between the start boat and the first pin. As the riders converge on the first turn in Heat 1, drops in wind speed took their toll and the racers were all a tangle, unable to find sufficient speed on the turn. Sure enough, the race was cancelled. Up went the checkered flag as the wind had fallen below the 7-knot minimum requirement.
We have a minimum of 7 knots. That's the minimum requirement for planing conditions, because we want to have fair racing. Below 7 knots, it's very hard to get planing and get going fast. So we have judges all over the course area checking the wind conditions on the start boat, on the run-up, and at every marks. We have wind meters, and we make sure we have a minimum of 7 knots.
Planing is when you get the board that flies like a little bit, like it sticks out from the water, and you are not slow anymore, so you get speed, and we call it planing.
Planing and windsurfing is that first feeling that you get that hooks you and addicts you to the sport, and it's when your board finally gets up on the water and starts kind of skipping across the water. Your speed instantly accelerates, and everything becomes light, and you just start going faster and faster. Adrenaline just starts building.
The morning saw very low winds, but the action continued on the beach with ultimate frisbee, volleyball, and football tournaments. The winds picked up in the afternoon and riders headed out. Heat 3 is in the countdown sequence and they're off. It's a clean start. Riders are split. About half the field start next to the boat, the other half near the pin. Starting from the boat means they have a longer distance to travel, but they can achieve maximum speeds. Mika Buzianis is upwind of Arnon Dagan of Israel. Dagan tries to take Buzianis' wind, but Buzianis fends Dagan off. First to that turn is Argentinian Gonzalo Costahovo, then Buzianis, then Ben Vandersteen, followed by Arnon Dagan. There's another big mix-up at the turn, just not enough wind on the jibe. In the lead then, it's Hovo, followed by Buzianis in second, then Ben Vandersteen, who's locking horns with Steve Allen of Australia. But this race is all about Costahovo of Argentina, as he pulls away into the lead, Buzianis still second, Vandersteen third, Steve Allen fourth, Elton Franz fifth. At the final mark, Steve Allen passes Vandersteen, and the Dutch rider has a tumble. At the finish mark, it's Costahovo, Buzianis, and Elton Franz surprise third. Ben Vandersteen manages to at least qualify.
Well, I had a really good start through the middle. I decided to be in the middle where there was not many people. When it's so light, normally if you get stuck with other guys, you start losing your air, your wind. So I decided to go by myself, so I had a good start.
The PWA has a unique way of regulating who has right-of-way at the turn buoys.
When we get to the buoy, sometimes we are a lot of people at the same time, so it's kind of a mess in the buoy. And the rule for us is like no rule, and it means that there is no priority for any of us, so we just all have to take care.
Now it's no rules, it's a little bit free for all, and sometimes it takes a little adjustment for some of the newer sailors, let's say, which leads to some interesting scenarios on the buoys. But it's interesting also, one of the really nice things about the PWA is the camaraderie with all the sailors, and everybody's extremely competitive, but once you get back to the beach, if there was some collisions out there, they resolve themselves out on the beach one way or another, and at the end of the day, everybody's still friends, so it's quite a unique circumstance.
Men's Heat 2 is rerun, following its cancellation earlier due to poor winds. In the lead early on is Frenchman Pascal Tosselli, Cyril Musumani comes in from the upwind side. Toselli is first to the pin, followed by American Josh Angelo from Hawaii, and then Musumani in third, with Jordi Vonk of the Netherlands in fourth. Toselli's putting in a great race here against some of the world's top riders, but can he hold off the competition? On that third turn, Musumani has closed the gap with Toselli, challenging the Frenchman now, with Vonk still third. At the final mark of the heat, Musumani goes all out in a drag race to the finish with Toselli. Musumani moves downwind of Toselli, looking for an edge. Musumani's strategy pays off. He beats Toselli for the heat win. Great racing there. The AP flag is up as officials check to see if there's enough wind to race. Racers wait, then go back to the beach. Unfortunately, the wind never picks up, and the day's racing is over. With another grueling day's racing behind them, the racers kicked back at night to unwind with an endless stream of music spanning all genres, from pop to opera, with traditional Turkmen music concerts, and even a variety of incredible circus acts.
My name's Hugo Lewis, I'm the event manager for the PWA. So we've been here since we had a very early start. Skipper's meeting was 6 o'clock this morning, and unfortunately we're still on hold. Tried a few times to get some racing in, but the wind's just not quite playing the game.
Wind conditions remain too light for racing, which is always a source of frustration for the riders, but it's hard to complain when you're staying at a luxurious 5-star resort.
A little bit long time to wait when he's not here, so I try to go at the pool a little bit in the morning, like to wake up a little bit and stand by and relax, wait for the action.
Yeah, no wind, no races, but the hotel is very great, and now I'm gonna fitness. Study English. English game.
Sleeping.
We tried hammam. Turkish spa. Turkish sauna.
We don't know how to
use hammam.
How to hammer. Like this, sleeping in hammer. Very hot.
Very hot.
We've been in the swimming pool.
Festivities continued into the early hours. Heat 5, the first semi-final, the countdown is underway. Pascal Toselli has a great start. Next to him is Ross Williams of the UK, and to his outside, Pierre Mortefon. Toselli leads the heat going into the first mark. Pierre Mortefon pips Ross Williams for second place. Good jibing from the Frenchman. Williams bumped down to third. Pierre Mortefon goes upwind, and he's really getting some speed as he takes the lead from Toselli heading into turn number 2. Mortefon leads proceedings after turn 2. In second place is Ludovic Jossin, with Ross Williams in third. Mortefon gunning down that straightaway to buoy 3. All the other riders fighting frantically to make the top 6 cut so they can move up into the winner's final. Mortefon appears to be cruising his way into the final as he maintains a comfortable lead going into turn 3. He's followed by Jossin and then Williams with Toselli in 4th. The top 4 remains the same: Mortefon, Jossin, Williams and Toselli. Jimmy Diaz is in 5th spot and Cyril Musulmani hanging on in 6th, and that determines the first 6 winners finalists. Heat 6 was on immediately after Heat 5. Up for grabs are the final 6 places for the 12-man winners final. Gonzalo Costa-Hovel has a great start, barreling down that opening straight to the first turn. Costa-Hovel is the first to the turn, and he's clean on the jibe. Right behind him is Finian Maynard of the UK in 2nd, with Steve Allen of Australia 3rd, just ahead of Alberto Menegatti. Matteo Yashino is further back in the mix, with his work cut out for him. Costa-Hovel leads, and rising to 2nd spot is Elton Tati Franz. Maynard back in 3rd as the field approaches the 2nd turn. Maynard has trouble on the jibe, but Yashino and Steve Allen pump their way through, overtaking Maynard. Costa-Hovel and Franz maintain control of the race. Costa-Hovel first into turn 3, followed by Franz. Maynard struggling again on the jibe, as is Menegatti, who slipped back. There it is, Costa-Hovel first, Franz second, Arnon Dagan of Israel third, and also qualifying for the winners' final is Matteo Yashino, Alexander Kuzan, and Steve Allen. The women's Heat 2, riders approaching the start, but bad luck for the Japanese riders Ayoko Suzuki and Mio Anayama. They're disqualified for jumping the gun. Great start for Valérie Gibaudot of France, leading the race early. Gibaudot is first to the turn. Behind her in 2nd position is Delphine Kuzan, followed by Marion Mortefon, and then young Turkish rider Fulya Ünlü in 4th, and then 5 riders trailing, all fighting to make the cut. Gibaudot is dominating this race, looking comfortable in the light winds. She's first to Mark II, with Kuzan on her tail. Marion Mortefon is in 3rd, Fulya Ünlü still in 4th, but her fellow Turk Lena Erdil is moving her way up the field. In the back, 3-way fight between another Turk, Ceren Yaman, Marianne Kaplas of Finland, and Maria Andres of Spain, with Andres ending up in the water. The fleet of sails heads towards turn 3, led by 3 French women, Gibaudot, Kuzan, and Mortefon. And Gibaudot has the win. Her first win of the year. Kuzan is runner-up. Lena Erdil third. Great racing.
We are halfway through the week here in Turkmenbashi for the PWA Slalom World Cup. We haven't got quite a result yet. We reached the 2 semi-final for the men, and for the ladies we managed to have 2 final runs. We have 2 Frenchies in the lead, Delphine Kuzan, the reigning world champion, together with Valérie Gibaudot in 2nd. And for the men, we still have to run the 2 finals. It's pretty open because Antoine Albo, the world champion, the specialist in the slalom discipline, went out in the first round. He was too fast, too quick on the line. He was over early, he's disqualified. And he may take last position if we complete these 2 eliminations.
Finally, once the wind had picked up enough for racing, the men's Heat 7 winners final and losers final were started. But the winds died down again and both races were cancelled. So in the end, the women's winner over 2 heats was defending world champ Delphine Kuzan, with Valérie Gibaudot runner-up and Turkish sensation Lena Erdil third.
It's been a long week with not so much wind, a lot of waiting, but in the end we managed to complete 2 finals and I got a 3rd place, which is I think a good result for the beginning of the season, and I hope I can get some better results in the rest of the year.
I think I have a good sensation with my gear, and I wait with impatience with Alachati event now.
I'm really happy about this victory, and after my title last year, I think it's a very good beginning for all the tour this year.
In the men's slalom, because the finals were cancelled due to poor winds, all 12 men received the same overall points in the winners' final. The same going for the 12 men in the losers' final. The final podium results were based on the racers' world overall ranking positions after the PWA Awaza World Cup. That meant Cyril Musulmani was the winner, Pierre Mortefon runner-up, and Matteo Yashino was third.
I'm really happy to be third in the ranking now. I've never been third in the ranking. I'm getting better and better year by year. So the season is still long. There are many races in front of us. So I hope I can hold the position and I can do a really good season.
Yeah, I feel good after 2 events. Be on the second place is super nice. After my 12th place last year, begin like this, I'm stuck. It was a really nice week here in Turkmenistan for this first event.
Yeah, I'm in front of the championship now. We still have 5 races to do before the end of the year, but I'm in a good position right now. I will do my best to keep this place till the end of the year, and pretty happy for now.
That brings to a close the first PWA slalom event in Awaza, Turkmenistan. See you next round.